Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this morning's morning briefing here on Friedman Adventures. As always, I deeply appreciate you choosing to take some time out of your day this morning, maybe with a cup of coffee, or if you're watching later in the afternoon, I deeply appreciate you spending some time with me. I want to point out just a few guys who sent me personal notes and thank them, and one of them is Jaime Echaveste, Gino Machino, Brian Bolton, and Gary Nelson. You guys, thank you so very much for watching the morning briefing, and thank you so much for sending me a personal note. It means a lot to me, and to all of you out there who have our stats just soaring upward, I can't thank you enough. We've got a lot to cover with you. I think we are sitting on a powder keg here. I really do, because we're going to have some nice weather now. Finally, the fan is going to get turned off, and with that nice weather, you're going to see fishing take off in several different areas, from the Channel Islands to that bluefin bite, which is just grinding away really nice. There's some misses, as we point out to you every single day, and we'll get into that in just a moment, but really going along very, very well. Yesterday, if you remember, Mickey Salinas donated a lot of clothing and other goods that'll go to Baja California. So I took that all over to Gallagher Staging in La Mirada, and the guys over there at Gallagher are just as wonderful as you could possibly imagine. Starting up there with Joe Gallagher and Joey Gallagher, who've been personal friends of mine for a long time. They are not only great business people, but more than that, man, they have hearts of gold. They've always been there for me. They are wonderful friends, and they're always looking to help somebody. So we took all that stuff over there, warehoused it, and now we have thousands of items ready to go down for Christmas in several different venues in Baja California. And I've got to tell you, that's all due to you. Every single time I ask for some goods, you come through with so much stuff to go to our friends south of the border. And that says something about fishermen, outdoorsmen, Americans willing to reach their hands out and help people they don't even know. And to me, that makes me so proud of the Friedman Adventures family. That is you. For me, I just collect the stuff and take it down there. And to be perfectly honest with you, I love doing that. So it's not like it's a big deal for me to do it. I love Mexico. I love the Mexican culture. I love the people down there. And I love to go down there and help out. And I can't do it without you. So I just want to say thank you one more time again to Joe Gallagher, Joey Gallagher, and each and every one of you who have contributed. All right, let's get into the bluefin tuna. And we'll start in Ensenada, where the pongeros down there continue to troll around with Mad Max and continue to hammer out nice catches of big bluefin tuna. It's a mix, there's no doubt about it. Sometimes they get those 18-pounders, sometimes they get fish up to 200 pounds. And for those of you who like to cross the border and go down there and fish, it's pretty darn good right now, no question about it. That fish is vacillating from down there around Ensenada. Actually, the better part of it is up above around Puerto Nuevo, where you can get some good lobster dinners if you're ever down that way. Up to the U.S. waters now. And that fish, the migration pattern of it, I'm just speculating here now, seems to be on a similar path as last year, if not an exact path. Seems to be headed towards San Clemente Island. And so you're probably looking at a scenario where all of that fish is going to end up on Tanner Bank again this year. And wouldn't that be another awesome year? Let us not lose sight of the fact that we are so blessed to have this size tuna. We're the envy of the sport fishing world in many ways with this grade of tuna. Let us not get bored with us. Let us not take this for granted. It's exceptional, and who knows? I mean, you younger guys now who are in the sport may be telling your grandkids about the days when you used to catch 200 to 300 pound, maybe even bigger bluefin tuna right out our very front door. That is pretty amazing. All right. Polaris Supreme is on a roll. They just keep doing it over and over again. They had a 3-day trip, 137 bluefin tuna. That is exceptional. The Grande also doing great on that 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. trip. Yesterday, 19 guys, 18 bluefin, 30 to 100 pound fish. I'll get into some of the rigging here in a second briefly. I highly recommend when you walk on the boat, you say to the deckhand and crew, what do I need to do? And those guys, And those crews down in San Diego and many other boats up here in LA, Orange County are only happy to help and teach you. Those guys are more like teachers, if you ask me. They're teaching you how to catch these fish. They want to see you catch these fish. So don't be shy about saying, hey, I'm not really sure what I'm doing here. I'd love to learn a little bit more about it, and they'll be happy to help you out. Also yesterday in San Diego with 3 bluefin tuna, so they kind of missed, but let me elaborate on that a little bit. They saw huge volumes of fish, and bluefin, for whatever reason, sometimes play this game where they don't bite. You see the fish, it's so frustrating, but the guys on the San Diego said one of these days, and I'm guessing the San Diego has a great day today. That's just me speculating. They're just too good on that boat. The crews are so good, but they are seeing impressive volume of bluefin tuna, which bodes well for the rest of the season. Impressive, impressive, impressive. Big areas of fish. So we've got this variety in terms of size of fish, and we need to address that in terms of our tackle. So some 30 to 40 to 50 pound fluorocarbon rigs are a great way for you to score, not only on that bluefin, but if you happen to stumble across a kelp patty that's holding some 5 to 15 pound yellowtail, you're definitely going to want to have that in that case also. I know a lot of you are like, okay, you know, the kelps and those smaller yellows, not really interested, but what the heck, I mean, that's a lot of fun, great eating fish, and you might as well take advantage of it. So you want to have like 30 pound fluoro for that. Then you want to have 40 to 50 pound fluorocarbon type rigs in case you run into that smaller grade tuna. You're playing a dangerous game, however. Remember, when you go to that lighter stuff, you hook a 200 pounder, you are screwed. So you want to have the heavy. You want to have like 100 pound. You want to have a 2-speed reel. You definitely want to go tackled up. And a variety of different lures and rigs are working. The sinker rig, highly recommend you go back and listen to Sam De La Torre from Island Fishing Tackle in Carson, California. He shows you how to use the sinker rig, and better than anywhere else. Or you just ask your crew members in San Diego. They're all tuned up on exactly how to do it. But if you'd like to learn for yourself, or just kind of get into the theory of why it works so well, watch that. I'll put the link in today's show description. Just click on it and watch it. It's a great, great, great demonstration on how to sinker rig fish for these fish. Diasacanas, knife jigs, flat falls, all working well at times. Nighttime bites have been prolific, especially for those long-range boys. Those guys got it dialed in, man. We don't talk about them a lot, but they are out there night in and night out getting limits of fish, and they are really all over it. So all those long-range boys, Intrepid, all those guys, they are hammering away at the fish and doing really, really well. 180 to 300 grams, depending on wind and current. And now we are going to go into a weather scenario that is lovely, beautiful. It's going to be really, really nice. So keep that in mind. That's going to really help a lot, because we've had guys out like Mark Mongero and his lovely daughter Jaden here recently got thumped by the weather, but now our weather is going to start to cooperate a little bit. How long that lasts, we're not sure. We'll be watching it very closely. And for all of you on our Amigo trip departing on June the 15th, we certainly have a lot of options, and you'll see those options open up even more if what happens is what I think is going to happen during this tranquil little weather break we're going to get. And by that I mean, I think you're going to see a lot more white sea bass and halibut at our islands here in the next week or so. I think you're going to see that tuna continue to progress and move out toward Clemente. So on the Amigo, and I won't be sending out your tackle recommendations until about 5 days before, and that can be even too early, but I'll be sending those out to you so we know what we can do. Well, we certainly have bluefin tuna in the option list right now, and then of course some really excellent chances for sea bass and halibut. And remember, June the 15th when we depart, that sea bass limit goes to 3 per rod. So that could be a really exciting trip. It'll all depend on what happens with our weather out there on June the 15th. Yeah, please turn the fan off for that trip. I'm certainly hoping for that. We'll be watching it. Tonight, Dave Maestro, great angler, great guy, says that fishing just cleanses his soul. And I get it, David. I get it. And he'll be sharing not only that philosophy with you tonight, but some extraordinary tackle tips and also observations on what he saw on a recent trip on the Thunderbird. They went down out of Davies Lock and Newport Beach with Jeff Markland at the helm. Jeff is really an outstanding captain, a lot of fun to fish with, and they had an exceptional trip up there at 39 Bluefin Tuna, and we'll be picking his brain tonight on our live show, 7 p.m. Make sure you send in a question tonight. Tune in for the live show this evening. That is going to be a lot of fun. All right, let's talk Coronado Islands. We have had boats out there, and they've scratched a few yellowtail, bass, you know, that kind of stuff, some rockfish. Nothing wide open quite yet, but that'll get going. I have to think that the Coronado Island yellowtail bite will pop into gear here pretty soon. For now, everybody is focused on that bluefin tuna. We'll continue to watch it. San Clemente Island, all right, it's been tough. It's been slow, but we have an excuse. This weather, this terrible wind that we've been dealing with has really, it mucks up conditions, number one. And if you happen to be out there on a day when it is blowing, it just makes, you know, everything more difficult. It makes anchoring more difficult. It makes staying on the spot more difficult. Blah, 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 blah. You get it. So we've had our excuses about why SCI is not biting. Now we go into a nice weather scenario. The question will be whether or not the conditions recuperate fast enough for that to bite. And I'm hoping that Tino Valentine, my good friend, has an answer for us. The Freedom out of 22nd Street Landing should be heading over there here shortly. We'll be watching that very, very closely. If you'd like to jump on board with Tino, highly recommend you give the landing a call at 310-832-8304 and jump on board. The Fury and several other boats will be working out there. There's still been some good signal of sea bass and halibut, copious amounts of rockfish, calico bass, even in this torment that we've been dealing with. And hopefully now that we go into a good weather scenario, and it's going to be beautiful. I mean, I'm talking flat calm here. We're going to catch some fish. My view is, my feeling is that that's exactly what is going to happen. All right, Catalina Island, that nice hit for the pursuit the other day with 9 white sea bass certainly bodes well for the future and looks good. I'm thinking we're going to have some really good fishing at Cat. Conditions have been improving day by day. It looks much better in terms of the clarity of the water, and the water temperature is up. There's been some of that big bonita bouncing around there. Several of the boats over there have had good action on calico bass, a lot of shorts, but some legals also in there. And you got to think that the yellows that they've been seeing over there will pop into the picture maybe today. And there's been some barracuda. Somebody get a hit on the gar over there. Something good is about to happen at Catalina Island. I'm thinking in this nice weather scenario that we have, it's even improving more, that things will continue to progress. Overall, it's hit and miss over there. We've had some slow days, we've had some good days, but potential seems really, really good. Now, Santa Barbara Island, San Nicolas Island, the sites of some outstanding halibut fishing this year, as well as good sea bass fishing and some big dropper loop yellowtail. I mean, those islands have been magnificent, but they've been off limits because of this wind. Now we're going to get a weather break, and we'll see what happens. My gut tells me you're going to see some really outstanding fishing going on. A lot of dropper loop fishing out there. Some guys go with fluorocarbon, some guys do not. Fluoro's way more abrasion resistant, so some guys will go with that. Other guys will say it's, you know, especially at night or before the sun comes up, you don't need it. You just fish mono. And so I'll leave that up to you. If you're going to fish fluoro, we highly recommend that you use OpsonUSA.com. That's OpsonUSA.com. Put in FA at checkout. You'll get a note from Greg Brown, the owner, as well as a free gift. So we'll be watching those islands very closely as we have a feeling, a good feeling, that something good is about to happen. Channel Islands, same thing. Look for some really great fishing to break loose today, tomorrow, right in through the weekend. We're going to get finally a weather break up there. And every single time we get any kind of a weather break, we see great evidence of sea bass and halibut and good rock fishing as always. But now it looks exceptionally good. The Aloha Spirit yesterday, 15 guys, 7 white sea bass, 5 barracuda. Good signal of fish. Nice weather can only bode well for this thing to get going. Again, fluorocarbon, those guys up there, Tucker McCombs, Cody Rogers on the Island Spirit, guys out of Ventura Sport Fishing, highly recommend you fish fluoro. They like 30 to 40 pound fluoro on your dropper loop. They're going to tell you what size sinker to use. My guess will be 6 to 8 ounces on the dropper loop. Sometimes you'll go to a Carolina rig with a sliding egg sinker when you're in the short water. There should be some good hits on halibut and white sea bass in the coming days. We'll be watching this very, very closely for you all. In terms of Albacore Forecast, I know, you think I'm nuts, right? They don't exist anymore. There's no albacore. There is a lot of feed on the beaches, and by that I mean offshore here. A lot of chovy around, so that is a very good signal. The water temperatures are perfect for albacore, and we are watching several commercial boats. I will have more on an albacore updated forecast here later on this week. Just waiting for a little bit more information to come together. I don't know what your thoughts are on it, but I would sincerely love to see them on our YouTube comment section. Albacore, yes or no? What do you think? All right, take a look at that back there. I mean, it's gorgeous. It's perfect for surf fishing. High tide's a great time to catch a variety of different fish, but low tide is a great time for halibut and corvina and other species. You can make a long cast, especially. You can cash in on some really good surf fishing. A lot of corvina, and this is a perfect time to be fishing them. That ocean looks perfect. Light line, you can come down here with a trout rod and 6 pound and a piece of mussel, or dig up a sand clam or a sandworm and have an absolute ball. You'll get hooked on catching corvina. Oh, Bob Gifford is a friend of mine. I went to grammar school with him at Nativity Catholic School in Torrance, California, and then we went on to Bishop. He's a couple years younger than me. He was hanging out with my brother, but you know, I ran into the guy at a KC Anglers club meeting. I was speaking, and Nick Acosta and Bob Gifford, there they are. I hardly recognized them because they look so terrible. No, I'm just kidding, just like me. It was great to see them. And since that time, since that KC Angler Club meeting, and incidentally, KC Anglers, great job as always. It was so much fun being there with you. But they've been fishing with me, and especially Bob. He's been down here surf fishing, and it's been slow for us pretty much. But the other day, he catches a corvina, and it wasn't all that big. It was small, but he's still talking about it. He's still saying, man, the way that freaking thing hit, I mean, it really put up a fight. Corvina are bonefish. You can stalk them, you can see them, you can throw a bait to them. It's very visual. You see them before you catch them. Sight fishing, so much fun on corvina, and you could have a really good time doing it. We're here in Surfside, and as I say, it's been up and down here, mostly down, but down that way, Bolsa Chica, that's been much better. There's yellowfin croaker biting down there, some spotfin croaker, halibut in the surf. They're still around also fishing Lucky Crafts, chrome crocodile. Bob Osborne, who's an outstanding surf fisherman, was out recently and caught a halibut that wasn't all that big, but he caught it on the crocodile. Those things do bite the croc really, really well. It's a good way to get things accomplished. Once again, I just want to jump you down south, tell you that Cabo's got some really good marlin fishing going on down there. That comes from Rudy Morgan, who runs a yacht down there for a good part of the year. He's up here now in SoCal, and there's a little bit of yellowfin tuna starting to poke their noses in there also, so that's looking good. Next grunion run will be June the 14th. We are still in observation only mode. However, I point that out to you just to let you know that that feed will come up on the beach, all that grunion, and it has a tendency, especially right before, I like fishing like now till that 14th, it just seems to get things going. They start to stage out there. Many times you'll see pelicans hitting the water and other birds and raising all kinds of a ruckus out there. So that is something we'll be watching for you very, very closely. Up in the Santa Monica Bay around Topaz Rock Jetty, some really good corvina fishing going on, and up there in Ventura and areas like that, they're still catching a few barred perch up there and a lot of yellowfin croaker in some of those zones. All right, hey, what can I tell you? I just think this is going to be a very good week. It has been up and down. It's been difficult with all the wind, but I'm looking at a good weather scenario coming into a full moon. And for you albacore nuts out there like me, many times Albacore will move in. They move on the full moon. So, you think? I mean, the full moon's going to be around June 14th. Oh, shoot. That's right on our Amigo trip. Wouldn't that be something? Yeah, I know. I'm dreaming. I'm crazy. I don't know. I've lost track of reality. But Albacore do move on full moons, so we'll see what happens. If we were going to see some show up in that time period, that wouldn't be a bad time to watch. But I'll have more of that on our Albacore Forecast hotline. By the way, went and saw Top Gun, the movie. Makes you proud to be an American. Great movie. In fact, I might do a movie review. I was so stoked about that flick. And not only for us old-timers who remember the first Top Gun, but it was really, really a great movie experience. You got to see that on the big screen. Really, really great stuff. All right, everybody, as always, thank you so very much for your great support, pushing us toward 11,000 hours of content consumed in the last 28 days. And for that, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Believe me, I never lose sight of the fact that the reason we're growing is because of you. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great day, and I'll see you again really, really soon. In fact, see you tonight on our live show, 7 p.m. on the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel.